Okay, we're taking off. About 8:20 in the morning. Right down to the Poudre Trail. Just passing the brewery, New Belgium Brewery. Headed for the entry to the Poudre Trail. Which is up here on the left. This is the Poudre Trail. Not the start of it, that's out by Laporte. But this is the part that's headed east. It's a nice paved trail. You get all different kinds of bikes on here. Everybody enjoying it. Going eastbound under the LeMay Avenue Bridge. And this is where we'll come up on the bike bridge over the Poudre River. One of the bridges. This is the area I saw a bobcat last year. There's wild turkey. There's quite a bit of wildlife in this area. This is what I call the Jurassic Park area. Once all the leaves are out, everything's growing up. There's a lot of times water off to the sides. It kind of looks like a forest with lots of potential wildlife, and just reminds me of Jurassic Park a little bit. But then we come out of it pretty quick. We're still eastbound on the Poudre Trail. Up here on the left, where this little seat is where my daughter Amy's bike broke down, at a new bike, after she got it. Handlebar problem that we had to take care of. We'll be coming up on the Timberline Road Bridge, still headed eastbound, which will be headed that way for a little while. As you can tell, in the morning there aren't a lot of people out here. Okay, as we come up here, or where the Poudre Trail intersects with the Spring Creek Trail, if we kept going straight, we would be on the Poudre Trail and we could go under I-25 to the Costco, which is several miles up. But we're going to be on Spring Creek Trail now. And this one will turn back west for a little while. And we're on Spring Creek Trail, going under the Timberline Road again. So we're kind of looping back a little bit to get to where we need to go. This is a railroad track bridge, railroad. lot of people walking and running. Most of them have their earphones in, so you never know if they hear you ring the bell or let them know you're on their left, which is always interesting. This is the power trail, and we're going to turn south off here and take this for 2 or 3 miles. At this point, you can probably see why it's called the power line trail. It's going to follow these power lines for quite a ways. Now, Fort Collins does a good job at placing bike trail lights at the busy streets. They're not as good as Loveland about posting maps of the trails, but they certainly are good at this. Today's perfect biking weather. It's probably in the upper 50s. Of course, in Colorado, there's very little humidity, so the air is really dry. And just a really enjoyable day for being out for a bike ride. Now we're coming up the Drake Road. Still headed south. We'll just let the cars and everyone across. At this point, the power line trail ends. So we're gonna go through a park and then get on a road and cross over Harmony Road, and they are building a tunnel underneath Harmony Road so that in the future you won't have to cross it, because it's a very busy road and you always have to kind of keep your eyes open even though there's a light where you cross. So we're just going to go through the park here and then head to that Harmony Road crossing, which will be the last major road for a while. The road we're going to ride on for a few minutes is McMurray. A couple blocks ahead, this will take us up to Harmony Road, where we'll cross over Harmony. So at this point, from the house to Harmony Road, we've gone 10.8 miles. So we still got 30 miles to go. Normally you turn left here to the power trail, but the trail's closed right here. That's where they're extending it, putting in the tunnel for the bikes. So we got a detour to LeMay Avenue and circle around. This is where we'll detour on LeMay. Some people cross the road and take the bike trail up. I tend to just take this sidewalk up because we're not going that far to the detour. Now, this is always interesting. We're going to be coming up on, or they've closed this end of the power line trail. We're going to sneak through and get on it. Okay, we just got on the section that kind of blocked it off, but this section really has no construction on it. So I'm not absolutely certain why they have a sign there saying the trail's closed. In any case, we're on it. This is the power line trail, or the power trail. And we're still headed south, which we'll be heading south for quite a ways until we get into Loveland. Here's the other end of the trail where it normally detour you, which we didn't need to do, obviously. And so now we're back on the trail. We could go straight and connect up with other areas, but we're going to take a left. And this is the Fossil Creek Trail that will take you to Loveland and Boyd Lake State Park. Okay, had to stop and readjust. I had the phone mounted. I probably need a little higher so I can see it easier. Had to raise the seat up half an inch. So we'll see. Still on Fossil Creek Trail, going down here by all the cattails. So we're south. These cattails have a lot of red-winged blackbirds in them. And we're going to cross a couple of little bridges here. Now we got a little hill climb ahead, and then we'll be on some pretty open country trail. Nice open views. Yeah, we're still on the Fossil Creek Trail. Or no, we're getting on the Front Range Trail, which is a Loveland thing, so the Front Range Trail will take us into Loveland, Boyd Creek State Park and Loveland if we go that direction. And we'll almost go there. Okay, we're on the Front Range Trail. 15.6 miles from the house. We're still following the power lines. I'm glad they put these trails in, and the power lines made it viable, since the power line company wants access to their power lines anyway. And these are nice, smooth trails. Coming up on other bicyclists on a little road crossing. Doing okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Just rest stop.
Oh, all right. Always good to check. Make sure nobody needs assistance. Because I definitely carry tools on this bike. Haven't needed them really very often, except to adjust the seat or the bracket holding the phone or something like that.
but you never know. I have flat out in the wheels, so when I go over stickers or nails or something, I don't have to worry too much about getting a flat. And other than that, I don't even carry a spare tube. I figure worst case, I'd have to lock the bike up and get a ride back to the house to get my truck or a tube and fix the bike. So we're still on the Front Range Trail. This trail will take you down where you can connect up with the Big Thompson River Trail, which I'll do in a later video. I'm going to do the North Trail Circle or North Trail Loop. Okay, right here, if we go left, it takes you to Boyd State Park, and the Front Range Trail will take you down to Big Thompson. We're going to North Trail Loop to the right here. We're going to head back west. And we're going to take a little water break and electrolyte break. This is where you'll start getting good views of the mountains. I can get it up. Snow-capped mountains. We had some moisture the other day. And as we're riding, we'll get better views. Miles 17.4. Again, we're headed west on the North Trail, City of Loveland. So if your eyesight follows the power lines down straight ahead, you got nice snow-capped mountains off in the distance. And we'll come into just a short amount of civilization up here. So off in the distance, you'll go by or near a Walmart, Freddy's Burgers, which is good, and a few other places before you get back away from all the businesses. So we're on the north end of Loveland, and we're going to go under Highway 287, which is nice. They built this underpass. It's crossing major roads like Harmony Road in Fort Collins is not always a lot of fun. You just always want to avoid cars whenever possible. So this North Trail is going to take us around these businesses, and then we're going to hop back on the trail right here on the left. Back on the North Trail. So today is May 10th, 2025. So you can see off in the distance, there's a lot, even the clouds kind of obscure a little bit. There's a lot of snow up there on the mountains. So if you go to Estes Park from here, you get to play in the snow, and if you go to Long's Peak outside of Boulder, you get to play in the snow. So even on May 10th, luckily we got a lot of moisture and a lot of snow up there, which really helps with the wildfire issues. And it's also very, very pretty to look at. Coming up on a pit stop.
It's always a good idea. And I do have an alarm on the bike, so I can park it out here and feel pretty confident that nobody will really mess with it, at least not without me hearing it. So it's always good to have an alarm, so I need to deactivate it. Get a little more electrolytes. So it is 9:52 in the morning. So I've been on the road maybe an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, something like that. And to this stop point, it was 20.5 miles. And it says I've been on the road for an hour and 16 minutes. So in a few minutes here, or not a few minutes, a few seconds, we're going to turn right across this bridge and start heading south. And this is called Longview Trail, or heading north, I'm sorry. We're going to turn north on Longview Trail, and this takes us back into Fort Collins. On the left over here is a little scenic area with picnic tables. Looks like an old smokehouse of some kind. Well, it's 10 o'clock. Thinking about a friend and a neighbor, Matt, who's getting foot surgery right now. 10 o'clock was a scheduled time. And it didn't sound like much fun, so while I'm riding, I am thinking about him, hoping that he recovers fast and that when the pain meds wear off, it's not too bad. And we're still on the Long Draw Trail. We'll be taking this all the way to meet up with the Fossil Creek Trail again, and then we'll take Spring Creek Trail to the east and finally make our way back. So we're going next to the railroad tracks. You'll see the train on the right here. It's actually the first time I've been on here while the train's been going down. Fort Collins is one of the towns, though it's 100,000 plus people. It still has railroad tracks that run through the middle of town, which is really kind of too bad. It runs right downtown, trains go. And I don't know how people would sleep through that in the middle of the night. But I'm glad we live far enough away where we can only hear the train horns at a distance, and usually the wind has to be right. So that's the train story. This is Shields going north. Trilby Crossroad, pretty busy. You always want to go with the signal, and it is 23.9 miles. Okay, we're on Long Draw Trail, headed north. And we're getting ready to connect up with the Fossil Creek Trail. We could go right on the Fossil Creek Trail and meet up with Mason Trail that goes by the university. But we're going to go down here on the Fossil Creek Trail, and in a few miles or a couple miles it will hook up with the Spring Creek Trail, and we'll follow that all the way back east and north. So now we head west. And we'll get right to the base of those foothills. You don't go up the foothills, though you could always go up the Horsetooth Reservoir and go up a little ways on them. And that's a nice ride too. So this is rattlesnake country, and there's one of the little signs that say beware. Don't go walk around the field unless you're really being attentive. Now, I've never seen a rattlesnake here. I've only seen bull snakes. But I trust that they are there, because this is good open high plains prairie. Still on the Fossil Creek Trail, headed west. We're going to do a tunnel here. This is tunnel number 2. We're definitely getting closer to the foothills. Now we will climb a little here. This is one of the areas you'll get a good workout. It's not real steep, but it is long enough. It kind of lets you know if climbing up those foothills is something you want to go ahead and do. Now for me, I wouldn't mind it, but that'll be another video, because I got quite a few miles on right now, which I'll look at when we get up to the Spring Creek Trail. Still doing a little climbing here. We can coast for a minute. Okay, so I believe this is where it turns into a Spring Creek Trail, and we'll drop down into some parks. So after going up hills, you get a coast for at least a half a mile. Or you can pedal if you're in a hurry. So the Spring Creek Trail, that was mile 28.3. And that's when we got off the Fossil Creek Trail onto the Spring Creek West Trail. And we're going to be heading north and east. So now we're entering the park complex here, and it's a big park, Spring Creek City Park, I think. So it's got dog park, picnic grounds, soccer fields, everything. There's always a lot of people, especially on the weekends, that hang out here. And this is where I'm going to take a break and have a protein drink. And relax for a few minutes. And of course, there's like 100 people here, kids. Hello. So this is where I like to take a break. Got a little sitting area. Have a protein drink. And I'll be back. Okay, had the protein drink. Back on the trail, just taking a gravel trail to avoid all the little kids on the road. And look like a preschool or maybe even a kindergarten class, hard to say. But it's nice they're out teaching them. So we're still on the Spring Creek Trail. We're just taking the little off-road path that detours around a little bit. Now we're back on the trail, heading east and north off and on. The Spring Creek Trail is one of the nicer ones, kind of tree covered in many places. Definitely more people. It gets a little more popular, and because there's parks all along here and nice shaded trails, a couple of horse farms, or ranches, sorry. Cute little dog.
Thanks.
A lot of dog walkers. People taking their dogs for a swim, people running with their dogs, people walking with their dogs. So it's always good to get the dogs out on these trails. Let them enjoy. And of course we follow Spring Creek. This is where we'll turn left. So you could go, there's bike parkways, city parkway paths, trails everywhere. And this, I forget the name of this park, but you can play pickleball, tennis, all sorts of things. It's got restrooms, and it's a well-developed park behind the Senior Resource Center, where you can go if you're a senior and get lots of activities. So it's a pretty nice park. They definitely keep it clean. There's like open courts right now. Quite a few of them. So you can go there and get a lot. There's picnic tables here. It's just a nice area. Spring Creek Trail will take us back through populated areas. And one of the few bad designs that are old under shields. Oh no, I'm not going fast. Not on this.
Clear.
All right, thank you. This is skinny trail. Very skinny trail or tunnel. So you have to be very cautious going through there if you meet another bike or a three-wheeler or a group of people. It's best just to go really slow. But it's still a pretty area, even though we're in the middle of town. They keep the natural areas, they let them grow up. And the Spring Creek, sometimes it really flows. Thanks for your notice. Of course, that guy didn't say on your left or ring a bell or anything, so there's bikers on here that just aren't very courteous. It's kind of like when walkers or runners are wearing headphones and they don't hear you, or earbuds. But maybe that guy will learn one of these days to let people know he's coming around them. Well, there's a lot of geese, ducks with their babies around. A nice little reservoir on the left. So if I was going through the university, which will be another video, I would exit here and head through the university. But we're going to keep going on this trail and stay on Spring Creek Trail all the way back to the Poudre Trail. Okay, this is where you can get on, stay on the Spring Creek Trail. This is mile 33.2. It's the Spring Creek Trail to the right. This is the Mason Trail, which goes north and south, where you can go to CSU downtown. So we had that one narrow tunnel we went through maybe 15 minutes ago, and now we have the second one. So these are just narrow tunnels. I don't think they were figuring that two bicyclists would be meeting in these, otherwise they might have made them a little larger. But that's okay. So now we're on the Spring Creek Trail again. Going east on it. They might call it the Spring Creek West Trail, but we're headed east. And this is Highway 287, so there's all sorts of businesses. There's all sorts of businesses along here. If you want to eat, get off, or take the Mason Trail and go to different places, you can do that along 287 and Mason Street. So it's a great area. Hello. It's a great area for biking and walking dogs and kids, you name it. So we're just headed east from on this trail, Spring Creek Trail, and we just went under Highway 287. Now we're hitting the park areas. And so on the right hand side it's just parks for quite a while. And hopefully not too many homeless people. So all these bridges say to detour because of high water. So far we haven't hit that. But the Spring Creek Trail is notorious for having high water.
So yeah,
you can get it under the bridges, and then it runs close to the trail a little ways ahead, and a lot of times you'll be riding through some water. But Spring Creek's not running high right now. And the main reason it's probably running a little snow melt, but we did get 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall a couple days, or yesterday and day before. So, but yesterday was pretty nice. Had to adjust my bell. It was starting to slip. As you can see, this is a more populated area. I almost expect to see one of my other neighbors on this today. We'll see. This is the area where Spring Creek often covers the road, but it's not, or the trail, but it's not right now. Maybe it'll be flowing a lot higher. When it does, I'll be sure to film that. I have to believe it's really going to get some snow melt. Nice scenic little trail. You just have to be courteous and not crowd people and take it easy. And yet another park. Fort Collins has a lot of parks, which is nice. A lot of greenery. It's one nice thing about living here. Other than easy traffic, even at rush hour, it's nothing like it was living in Littleton in Denver area, which was crazy. It still is. So we're coming up on
Right, there you go.
the Poudre Trail. This is where we turned north this morning. Up to the, or turned south this morning, Powerline Trail, and we've gone 35.5 miles, and the time is 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, not a bad little ride. And now we're going to head back on the Spring Creek Trail, and it will connect up with the Poudre Trail, which we were on first thing this morning. Crossing under Prospect Road. Again, these trails in Fort Collins are really nice. Even when you're in the city, it just kind of feels like you're out in the country because there's so much open space. And this is where we get back on the Poudre Trail. We'll go left here, head back west, the way we originally came this morning, and enjoy our little ride. This is one of the little areas off the Poudre Trail. Picnic table, trash and recycling container, and it's kind of a nice thing. It's just right off the trail itself, and kind of a good place to take a rest, a break, if you need to relax, fix your bike. So we'll just turn back onto the Poudre Trail. See some clouds are building up there. This time of year we can get afternoon rain. Usually it's just clouds hanging over, but if they start building up, you can get good rain. Right now it seems a little cool. If the sun comes out stronger, a better chance.
And we're going to go back over one of our favorite bridges. Well, it does look like we could get a little rain if we happen to end up under that cloud this afternoon. Kind of nice.
I don't know the name of that.
This is where we entered earlier this morning onto the Poudre Trail. To the left, it continues out to LaPorte and Watson Lake, which we'll do another time. And right now we've gone 40.3 miles in a little over 2.5 hours. We definitely go some more, but still have a few more miles before we get home. We're passing New Belgium Brewery up here to our right. Very large and very popular brewery. It has a beer garden and food trucks and all sorts of stuff. So it's a hopping place on the weekends. But I think New Belgium's pretty well known brewery. This is the way I bicycle to my house most of the time, and always makes me want to stop in there on the way back and just get a nice cold brew. So I don't know what time it is today, but I'm ready to go home and eat some breakfast or lunch, I guess. That protein drink was good, but I feel like I need just a little more low-carb meat. One thing about Fort Collins is there's a lot of roads that have bike lanes, dedicated bike lanes, which is really nice. We're on a road called Redwood, and that's the one that leads us down to New Belgium and the Poudre Trail entrance. So I take Redwood pretty much till it dead ends, and then it's just a matter of half a mile to my house. So it's been a great ride today. I'll finish it up when I get back and watch these cars that always want to shoot through intersections. But people are pretty
pretty nice in Fort Collins. You don't get a lot of that. Last little stretch on the way home. Get back into civilization and cars and people and stores. Glad I cut through behind King Supers here. Avoid most of the traffic and street lights and cars. I just gotta watch for cars here. I got my headlight back on. Of course, people aren't gonna pay much attention, but I watch for them. Here, let's just pull out. And up here, the homeless like to bum money from cars, so they always tend to block the sidewalk. I personally don't give money at that place, at that pullout. I don't think that's a great place to stand, but hell, they probably make more money than I do. I mean, I'm having to ride a bike. I'm retired. And here I am riding a bike where I can barely afford electricity to recharge it. Sort of. Actually, that's not true. Okay, that's a good way to cut over in the lane. I always wave at them. At least the cops never said anything to me about riding on that nice wide sidewalk. 287 there instead of in the bike lane. There are times when you ride in the bike lane in the summer that you can, about every 8th car, you can smell the pot smoke. It's great. I like the smell of it. But that's why I don't like riding in the bike lane. I don't like it when people drift over into it. Now we're almost home. Just this one hill left. This is one you have to downshift on. It's short, but it's steep. Let people go by, let the car go by. Hey. Okay, that's pretty much it. Enjoyed the ride. Okay, finally got home. The ride was 43.2 miles, 2 hours and 46 minutes. And I'm down to 17% battery. That's not bad. I'm riding a Venton 2. Weighs probably loaded down 120 pounds. I keep it in eco mode, which is the lowest setting. It just kind of offsets the weight of the bike. And so when you get home, you can definitely feel like you've been riding. I love the e-bike. And that's about it. I can't think of too much more. Enjoyed it.